This is Echo 3, and let's continue with our career mode discussion. With the 1.11 update, there are some new types of contracts, one of them being to repair a craft. I found the instructions for these kind of contracts to be easy to understand. We need to send a craft with an engineer and repair kits out to the broken craft and use the engineer to fix the part. For this satellite repair contract, we need a craft that is able to perform an orbital rendezvous in high space above Kerbin. Here, I have chosen to use the Mercury-style pod from the Making History DLC. This will let us carry a pilot and an engineer. A small parachute should be enough to slow this pod down on our return. The upper stage is not very big, so we do not need a massive engine. We can use the 1.8 meter engine plate and attach a single Terrier engine for propulsion. The Terrier does not have a generator, so to recharge the ship's batteries, a few solar panels are in order. This gives the upper stage a little over 3,000 meters per second of delta V. That should be more than enough to depart low Kerbin orbit, rendezvous with the satellite, and return back to Kerbin. In real life, the Space Shuttle serviced the Hubble Space Telescope on 5 separate occasions, with the final mission taking place in May of 2009. I have been excited for Hubble ever since it was launched, and have been thankful for these repair missions that have been able to extend its service life. Now, we need to design a booster stage to get this most of the way into orbit. I'm using more of the Making History parts, including 2 of the FL-TX 1800 tanks and the Bobcat engine. The exact parts are less important than the delta V totals and the starting thrust-to-weight ratio. I usually aim for a starting thrust-to-weight ratio of about 1.3, as I think it helps me maintain the correct control during my gravity turns. The last part of the building phase is to make sure we have the correct inventory and crew. Bill needs at least 1 repair kit to fix the solar panel. I can see that everything is set, so let's name our craft and take it to orbit. Fixing. Before we launch, I set the satellite as our target. I see it is in an inclined orbit, so I'm going to wait until the Kerbal Space Center is in the same plane as the satellite before I launch. By waiting to launch, we can now take off into the same orbital plane as the broken satellite. This will mean we do not have to do much with our inclination to get an encounter with the target. You see, I'm not burning directly 90 degrees or east. I'm actually burning south a little bit, and we'll be burning into the same plane as our target. And I'm going to pull out our prograde marker here. Rather than circularize around Kerbin, I'm going to go ahead and burn all the way out to the same height as our target. You come up here and slow down, try to get this as exact as possible. We'll make a small inclination change here at our ascending node. Because it's further out, the burn here will be cheaper, and it's going to be a small burn. We'll correct that. Now we have a good encounter as our orbit is tangent with the target's orbit. So I'm going to make a prograde maneuver here at our apoapsis and set up an encounter with the target, and we'll encounter the target on our second orbit. All right, we'll time warp now to our second orbit. Now we're going to approach the target, and we can see I'm about 181 meters per second difference in velocity with the target. So we'll have to change our velocity by that much. Pro tip, make sure your nav ball is in target mode for this last part. I have several rendezvous and docking tutorials. If you are interested in how I perform this section here, you can check out one of those. But in general, I try to burn on the target side of the retrograde marker and slow down and get close to the target all in the same burn. As we approach the target, I don't want to get too close, but I want to basically match the same velocity with it. Now all we got to do is have Bill get out, and he's got his repair kits already on him. We'll just right click on the part, click repair, and we have completed the contract. Now Bill just needs to go back over to the pod, and we will make a retrograde burn, and that will get us home. We've got plenty of delta V, so we are in good shape. I didn't pack a heat shield on this thing, so rather than going directly for landing, I'm going to set an aerobraking pass and just slow down our velocity a little bit. That should help keep us safe for our return. I have an aerobraking tutorial. If you guys are interested in that, you can check it out. Now we should be safe to come back in. I'm going to just play with things a little bit just for fun. I'm trying to get close to the desert launch site, but it's not really important. We've completed the contract. I'm just messing around, seeing what I can do with the last of our Delta V. We'll drop the pod, and that's it. Hey, thanks for joining me to discuss repair contracts.